I just don't want to get fat because it's hard when you got all that girth. It's hard for people to understand. You ever try to like understand a person who's like fat?
Body changes, coming from the theater world, man, eating 7,000 calories a day.
Hollywood is always changing. Today, you're a star. Tomorrow, you could vanish without a trace. But there's something even more brutal than fading fame: weight. Weight can transform an actor's entire life. It can turn a charming, powerful leading man on screen into a completely different version, a shadow of his former self. And that's exactly what happened to 15 of Hollywood's most handsome black male actors. Faces that once captivated millions, perfect physiques that graced magazine covers. Now, all of that has changed. Are you sure you'd still recognize them? Do you dare believe the images about to appear in this video? Brace yourself for some shocks, because the faces you're about to see will leave you jaw-dropped in disbelief. 15. George Foreman. Up 110 pounds, boxing legend knocked out by grilled meat. George Foreman, a name that once struck terror into the ring. A two-time heavyweight boxing champ, a fighting machine with a punch that could send any opponent flying. He once took down Joe Frazier in just 2 rounds, turning challengers into living punching bags. People looked at George and saw an invincible monument, a body forged like steel, a warrior nothing could topple. But then he stepped away from the ring, hanging up his gloves for the second time in 1997. And that's when everything started to slide. No more thunderous punches, no more nimble footwork. George entered a whole new world, the kitchen grill. The George Foreman grill became a global sensation. People believed in it, trusted its quality, but George wanted more. He wanted to prove everything cooked on it was delicious, flawless. And the only way to do that was to eat. It started with just a few grilled bites for commercials, a little burger, some ribs, a sausage or two. But then, bit by bit, day by day, George ate more and more. A photo shoot with a plate of meat, a taste test for a new recipe, a dinner overflowing with grilled flavors. The meals kept coming, relentless. The weight crept up, slow but steady, until it hit 330 pounds. His belly ballooned, his athletic shirt stretched tight over a massive frame. The legs that once glided across the ring now lumbered heavily. Muscles faded, replaced by thick layers of fat. George still smiled, still pitched his product, but something was shifting. Each step grew slower. Standing up took a little more effort. His old boxing trunks wouldn't even slide past his knees. No more steel fighter, no more champion. Just a man who'd let grilled meat knock him out. 14. Eddie Murphy. Up 55 pounds, a weight shock from a playful dare. Eddie Murphy, a comedy legend who once had the world rolling with laughter through iconic roles. From Beverly Hills Cop to Nutty Professor, he wasn't just an actor, he was a cultural icon. But in 2024, Eddie wasn't laughing anymore. A seemingly harmless challenge from his own kids sparked a weight crisis far beyond anything he'd imagined. It all started with a simple tease. Eddie's kids giggled and dared him. "Dad, you could never get as fat as Grandpa in Nutty Professor." It sounded innocent enough, but it hit Eddie's funny bone and his love for a challenge. He thought, why not? I played a fake fat guy once, let's try the real thing. And so the weight gain plan kicked off. At first, Eddie figured it'd be a fun little experiment. He upped his portions a bit, enjoyed a few extra pastries after dinner, sipped some ice cream before bed. But then it spiraled out of control without him noticing. One whole pizza wasn't enough anymore. Jumbo burgers became a snack, creamy pasta loaded with cheese, mashed potatoes drowning in butter, chocolate ice cream straight from the tub. No stopping point. Within months, Eddie's gut started poking out. He laughed at first, seeing himself rounder in the mirror. But then the warning signs piled up. His thighs rubbed together when he walked. Shirts popped buttons mid-meeting. The old couch creaked every time he sat down. And then came the horrifying moment. Eddie stepped on the scale, up 55 pounds. The goal was just to plump up a little for fun with the kids, but now he weighed more than when he wore the fat suit in the movie. Every step felt heavier. Old clothes didn't fit. His sharp jawline now sported a double chin. But the real shock wasn't over. One day, fixing a light bulb, he climbed a rickety ladder in the house. 3 steps up, and it collapsed under him right in front of everyone's stunned eyes. The family held their breath. Then laughter erupted. But Eddie didn't laugh. He panted, sweat beading on his forehead. That was the moment he realized he'd gone too far with his self-challenge. 13. Forrest Whitaker. Up 66 pounds, haunted by a legendary role. Forrest Whitaker, a cinematic legend, an actor with jaw-dropping range. In 2006, he snagged an Oscar for his chilling portrayal of dictator Idi Amin in The Last King of Scotland. But no one knew that role would change his life in ways he never saw coming. An obsession that lingered for nearly 2 decades led to an uncontrollable weight crisis. It started with a wild idea. In the film, Idi Amin was a brutal tyrant, living lavishly, indulgent, and unhinged. Forrest couldn't shake the character. He wanted to dig deeper, to live the life of a man at the top who destroyed himself. So he locked himself in a mansion, cutting off the outside world. A choice he'd later regret, big time. At first it seemed harmless, lavish meals, decadent treats he'd never let himself enjoy before. But what began as research turned into an addiction he couldn't quit. Wagyu steaks, foie gras swimming in butter, glasses of red wine spilling over the table. Then burgers, mashed potatoes by the pound. Each day, Forrest slid further down a one-way road. Soon his clothes didn't fit, shirts strained like they'd burst. The legs that once stood firm on set trembled under his massive frame. But Forrest kept going. He'd gone too deep, past 200 pounds. Then came the shocker. After over a year away, he returned to TV. The world waited, eager to welcome a film giant. But when he appeared, jaws dropped. No longer a great actor, no longer a Hollywood legend, just a 63-year-old man crushed by his own obsession with food. 12th Martin Lawrence. Up 66 pounds from Big Mama role, can't drop it back. Martin Lawrence is a comedy icon, the action star of Bad Boys. Once sharp and in top form, but then everything changed. His Big Mama role brought huge success, but trapped him in a cycle he couldn't escape. When the costume came off, the bulk stayed and kept growing. It started like a joke. To play Big Mama, Martin wore a fat suit for months. But when filming wrapped, he didn't recognize himself. A weird thought hit. Why bother slimming down? Why not just enjoy life like a jolly fat uncle? And so he dove into unchecked eating. At first it was a little indulgence, a big burger, a giant soda. But that little turned into daily feasts. 3 pieces of fried chicken, 5 caramel-drizzled donuts, a mountain of buttery fries. Breakfasts of towering pancakes, dinners stuffed with jumbo pizza. His weight shot up to 265 pounds. Then came the fateful day. Martin agreed to a TV appearance. Fans were buzzing, but Martin, in a suit stretched to the limit, felt his chest tighten. He stepped on stage anyway. As he sat, the chair split in 2. Laughter exploded. Cameras zoomed to Martin's face, sweat pouring, eyes wide with panic. He tried to stand, but his legs buckled, breath heaving like he'd run a marathon. That's when it hit him. Big Mama wasn't just a role anymore. It was him. 11. Mike Tyson, from boxing legend to 330-pound giant, crushed by his own body. Mike Tyson, the Iron Fist, the wrecking machine who terrified the boxing world. But then the spotlight dimmed. No more belts, no more money, no more fame. Just a man lost. Scandals, jail, bankruptcy. It all crashed down like a tidal wave, sweeping away his storied life. With no one left, no drive to fight, he let himself go. Training? Pointless. Diet? Who cares? Just meals, more and more, bigger and bigger, to drown out the pressure and loneliness. It started with a burger. Then it couldn't stop. A second, a third. Fries slathered in gooey cheese. Still not enough, he ordered fried chicken, crispy skin dipped in spicy sauce. Dessert was a chocolate cake piled with whipped cream, chased by a jumbo milkshake. Each bite brought a rush, but each bite added pounds with no breaks, no control, no limits. A ravenous beast devouring everything in reach. Who'd dare stop Mike Tyson, even doubled in size? His waist ballooned like a sumo wrestler's, legendary fists now buried in fat. The body, once a weapon of destruction, was now a lumbering fortress, slow and heavy. The real nightmare hit when Mike showed up at a boxing event to support a protege. Fans awaited the legend. But as he climbed into the ring, the unthinkable happened. His massive legs gave out, his body swayed, the former champ face-planted on the canvas. The crowd went silent. No cheers, just stunned stares at the pathetic fall. No more invincible Mike Tyson, just a 58-year-old man, trapped in 330 pounds, gasping under his own weight. 10. Gary Anthony Williams. Crazy bet pushes him to 308 pounds. Gary Anthony Williams, charming comedian, voice-acting genius, once lit up screens with sharp wit. But no one guessed a silly bet would send him on an out-of-control weight spiral, turning him into someone unrecognizable. It kicked off in 2024 at a Malcolm in the Middle cast reunion. Amid laughs, someone joked Gary could never double his weight. A throwaway taunt, but it sparked an odd fire in him. Why not? And the insane bet was on. From 165 pounds, Gary dove into an unreal eating spree. Breakfast wasn't just food, it was a skyscraper of fried chicken drenched in sauce. Lunch, steak, fried chicken pies stacked high. Dinner, more fried goods, crispy wings, butter-soaked fries, capped with a cake. He shoveled in enough calories for 3 grown men daily. His weight soared, hitting 308 pounds. His body fought back, knees creaked with every step. Plastic chairs that once held him snapped under his bulk. But the real shock came when he stepped on the scale, and it broke. Overloaded. Gary panted, face flushed with embarrassment. That bet had turned him into an immobile giant, stuck in his own flesh. Now it wasn't about winning or losing, it was about escaping this weight hell before it was too late. 9. Orlando Jones, foolish revenge, turns him into a 286-pound giant Orlando Jones, comedian, writer, a talent who made the world howl with laughter. But at one point, he plunged himself into a terrifying trap. A careless remark from an ex-girlfriend sent him on a weight revenge quest, morphing him into an unwilling behemoth. Skinny as a twig, not a shred of man in you. Her words sliced into his pride. He couldn't let anyone look down on him. If bulking up meant manlier, he'd go all in. So Orlando ate, unrestrained. It started with protein-heavy meals to build muscle, but it spun out of control fast. Breakfasts of jumbo burgers, lunches of bucket-sized fried chicken, dinners of creamy spaghetti. He stuffed thousands of calories into a bottomless pit daily. No more skinny Orlando Jones. Now a slow, hulking mass. Each weigh-in spiked higher. Clothes didn't fit. The couch groaned under him. But Orlando stayed cocky. No one could call him Twig now. 8. Tracy Morgan, from miracle survivor to trapped in his 253-pound body. Tracy Morgan, famed comedian, 30 Rock star, once had the world in stitches. But in 2014, a horrific crash nearly killed him, and he was never the same. His best friend was gone forever, and Tracy got stuck in a new fight with his own body. Endless hospital days followed. Relearning to walk was agony, scars a constant reminder of his brush with death. But the physical pain paled next to the loss inside. Friends moved on, leaving Tracy adrift in dark thoughts. He needed something to fill the void, and found food. It started as comfort meals. Then it became a runaway habit. Triple stack burgers, whole fried chickens, cheesy pizzas, endless soda refills. Tracy didn't just eat to fill up, he ate to forget, to bury the loneliness and unspoken pain. It snowballed out of hand. His legs, already shaky from recovery, buckled under the weight. Breaths came short after a few steps. Old suits wouldn't button. The mirror showed a tired, worn man buried in excess fat. The big shock hit when Tracy agreed to a major TV comeback post-accident. Lights flared, the crowd roared. But as he stepped up, he slipped on the stairs. His hulking frame crashed to the stage. No laughs, no claps, just stunned silence. That moment woke him up. He'd beaten death, but for years, he'd let himself waste away. Surviving the crash was a miracle. Could he win again, against his own body? 7. Andre Royo, gifted actor, brought The Wire's bubbles to life so vividly, fans thought he was a real addict. But to nail the part, he sacrificed, dropping weight until he was skin and bones, cheeks sunken, eyes weary. For years, that gaunt image haunted him. When the show ended, Andre vowed to take back what he'd lost. No more filming, no more pressure. Andre launched into a new mission: eat freely, make up for the starved years. It started innocently, but turned into a full-on revenge. Triple burgers, double large pizzas, caramel-drenched ice cream, buckets of crispy wings. Each bite screamed, "No one can make me skinny again." Late nights, the kitchen glowed. The fridge swung open, and the feast began. Creamy spaghetti tangled with bacon, a massive steak melting in garlic butter, crispy garlic bread, then nachos with cheese stretching a mile. He leaned back, satisfied, but his t-shirt strained tighter. At 230 pounds, his once light frame grew heavy, every step a chore. Old shirts fit like sausage casings, buttons begging to pop with each deep breath. But Andre didn't care. He was finally eating like a regular guy. More than that. He didn't see he'd gone too far. The lean years were over, but now he was trapped in a body he couldn't tame. 6. Sinbad, from comedy legend to 99-pound tragedy. After a stroke, Sinbad, a name tied to roaring laughter, sold-out shows, hit comedies. America knew him as a comedy titan. But in 2020, a stroke floored him. The stage lights went dark, film offers dried up, and Sinbad slipped into a shadow he'd never known. Obscurity. No more laughs, no more applause, no one saying his name. Stuck at home, barely mobile, each day deepened his isolation and his waistline. It started as mindless eating to ease the emptiness, but it became his only escape. Sinbad ate to fill the void, to forget he'd once been a star. At nearly 300 pounds, his steps dragged. The familiar sofa became a trap. Old clothes didn't fit, but he kept going, his mouth chewed, his eyes blank. Even when he tried to stand, to reclaim himself, his body refused. Rising from the chair, his bulk crashed to the floor. He couldn't get up. No one was there. The phone out of reach. Breaths ragged, sweat poured, heart racing. He realized his career wasn't the only thing that left him. His body was turning on him too. Yet he sank back into the cycle, eating to numb the pain. 5. Cedric the Entertainer, 88 pounds up and a joke gone wild. Cedric the Entertainer, comedy royalty, won over millions with razor-sharp humor, charm, and swagger. But behind the laughs, he raced into a wild gamble with his own body. It started with a throwaway line from Steve Harvey. Best friend, co-star, and biggest rival, Steve quipped, "Want to be funnier than me? Get fatter than me first." To most, it was a joke. To Cedric, it was a dare, and he charged in. Not a normal weight gain, a food frenzy. 3 burgers per meal, fries piled sky high, soda instead of water, fried chicken galore. It began as fun, but soon hit 290 pounds. His vests turned into ticking time bombs, stitches straining with every move. Breaths labored, steps slowed, yet Cedric didn't quit, even as the joke ran way out of hand. 4. Allen Greer. Weight contest turns nightmare. Allen Greer, synonymous with endless laughs, delivered explosive comedy on screen. But few know he once dove into a bizarre game, a secret bet that changed his life forever. It started backstage at In Living Color. During a chat, the cast joked, "Who can get the fattest and still be Hollywood's darling?" A silly quip laughed off by most. Not David. He took it dead seriously, determined to prove his career could thrive no matter his size. So he ate, like a warship fueling up for battle. Buffets became his playground. Limits shattered. He kicked off with sushi, not a few pieces, but whole trays. Then BBQ, juicy ribs, honey-glazed brisket, sizzling sausages. Next, pasta, a heaping plate of Alfredo, blanketed in Parmesan. Dessert? A mound of sweets, silky tiramisu, dense cheesecake, golden egg tarts. Standing up, he could barely breathe from fullness. Fast food flowed endlessly, no end in sight. It was just to win the game at first. Then he hit 250 pounds. His body shifted daily. The sofa groaned under him. But David didn't care. He still shone in public, still landed roles. Fans still laughed. He'd won. 3. Keenan Ivory weigh-ins. Weightquake. Ruins, a legendary director. Keenan Ivory weigh-ins once commanded Hollywood's respect. Not just a talented comedian, he was a director, a producer, the man who laid the groundwork for a new generation of comedy. But as the stage lights dimmed, Keenan slowly faded from the public eye. No one knew what happened until he re-emerged with a physique that left everyone stunned, a bulked-up Keenan, tipping the scales at over 260 pounds. It all started after Keenan decided to step away from acting to focus on directing. In the early days, he stayed sharp, still the one calling the shots. But Hollywood wasn't the same anymore. His passion projects got rejected. The films he nurtured were delayed indefinitely. Endless meetings dragged on with the same tired response. Not a fit for today's market. Keenan was no longer the center of the game, and he started eating. Not to live, but to forget the sting of failure. Triple-layer burgers, pizzas overflowing with cheese, fried chicken dripping with sauce onto the plate. At first it was just a bit of fast food at night, then it turned into all-night feasts that stretched into dawn. His weight climbed month by month. But Keenan didn't see it. Not until that fateful day. An action scene needed a new camera angle, and Keenan decided to take charge himself. He climbed onto a tall wooden platform for a better view, but the moment he stepped up, it split in two. The crack of wood echoed across the set. Keenan crashed to the floor with a thud that froze the crew. No one laughed. No one dared speak. Keenan lay there, heart racing, sweat pouring down his face. His body was so heavy he couldn't get up on his own. People rushed over, pulling him to his feet, while Keenan stared blankly at the bewildered eyes around him. This wasn't a joke anymore. He wasn't the director steering the story. He'd become the punchline in everyone's eyes, with no one knowing the deep pain gnawing at him inside. 2. Tommy Davidson, escaping the past with weight. Tommy Davidson was once a comedy star with a lean, agile frame. In Living Color launched him to the top, but it also boxed him into a single image. Tommy? That skinny guy? People tossed his name around, half joking, half serious, but to Tommy, it was a thorn in his side. He didn't want to be that skinny guy forever. So he decided to change. Not with a breakout role or a new project. He changed his own body. And he ate, not casually, like his life depended on it. Breakfast was 2 plates of waffles drowned in syrup, spicy sausages, buttery fried eggs. Lunch was double servings of spaghetti with giant meatballs, garlic bread soaked in olive oil. Dinner was creamy lobster, medium rare steak, mashed potatoes topped with stringy cheese. Late night snacks, a jumbo cheesecake with a chocolate milkshake. It started as heartier meals than usual, but soon it became a way of life. When he hit 242 pounds, his old pants wouldn't zip, and shirts once loose now clung like a second skin. Each step grew heavier. But Tommy didn't care. He'd broken free of his old shadow, until one day he showed up at a big event. Stepping onto the red carpet, camera flashes flared, and he grinned triumphantly. This was his moment. But as he got closer, an odd silence fell. Reporters exchanged confused glances. A young journalist frowned and asked, "Sorry, you are?" That moment stopped Tommy cold. No one recognized him. No one called him that skinny guy anymore. But a harsher truth sank in. He didn't recognize himself either. 1. Wesley Snipes, vampire hunter falls to endless feasts. Wesley Snipes was once the picture of strength, speed, and deadly cool on screen. His role as Blade turned him into a legend, an unstoppable warrior taking on armies of vampires. But Hollywood's ruthless. 1 minute of glory, a lifetime of fade. Wesley didn't think that day would come, but it hit like a nightmare with no escape. 3 years behind bars for tax evasion, he walked out hoping to reclaim his old shine. But the world had moved on. Studios didn't need him. Directors stopped calling his name. Worse yet, Blade had a new face, No one was waiting for Wesley Snipes. No one mentioned him except in bitter old news clips. He thrashed in desperation, but the harder he fought, the deeper he sank. When it all slipped out of his grasp, he gave up. He turned to a new vice, food. It started with a few late-night meals on sleepless nights, a box of teriyaki chicken, a tray full of donuts, a hot apple pie with vanilla ice cream. But then, eating became a ritual. Mornings, waffles slathered in butter and honey, a sugary macchiato with Nutella-slathered toast. Noon, Brazilian-style grilled meat, a cheesy creamy salad, a thick banana smoothie. Nights, a proper feast, creamy mushroom pasta, roasted lamb chops, butter-drenched mashed potatoes, a bottle of red wine, capped with a rich strawberry cheesecake. Each day, his waistline grew. By the time he reached 240 pounds, he didn't know himself anymore. His six-pack was gone. Arms that once wielded a sword now barely lifted a cocktail. He thought he was fine, until that fateful day. One morning, he took a walk to shake off the stifling air at home. A shout came from behind. He turned, a young guy, eyes uncertain. "You're Wesley Snipes, right?" That moment, his heart tightened. Not because of the question, but the doubt in that voice. Fans didn't know him anymore. That's Hollywood. 1 minute, you're a star. The next, you're an outcast, just for gaining weight. These 15 actors changed beyond recognition, but the question remains. Can they reclaim their former glory? Or is this the end of their careers? What do you think of these transformations? Whose change shocked you the most? Drop a comment below to share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next jaw-dropping stories about Hollywood's biggest stars.